Welcome to the Outdooraholic channel. On this video we're going to be taking our ex-military Humvee 2003 M1123 up the Poison Spider Trail in Moab, Utah. This is a really fun trail. It's rated difficult in the Fun Treks book and rated 4 to 6 on the Jeep Badge of Honor app. It's about 10 miles long if you do the whole loop, and it takes about 3 to 4 hours.
There you go. Nice.
Before you start the trail, be sure to check out the dinosaur tracks right near the trailhead.
Hi.
As soon as you start, the trail begins going up a series of switchbacks that get progressively harder. It's kind of a steep climb with lots of rocky ledges. This one right here was probably the tallest ledge, but the Humvee made quick work of it.
Come on.
So this part was an interesting obstacle. You're coming down and it's very tippy is the word I use to describe it, but you're kind of teetering on the edge, coming down sideways. It's a weird feeling with the truck tipping to the driver's side. But again, the Humvee is a very stable platform with a very low center of gravity, and it made it look easy.
Making me nervous.
As you continue to climb up the switchbacks and leave the Colorado River basin below, you get up onto the Poison Spider Mesa, where this trail gets its name. The first major obstacle is called the waterfall. It's actually a pretty fun, kind of an uneven, slick rock section. So for this trail, they recommend modified vehicles with bigger tires, lockers, and high ground clearance.
You're hitting the
This Humvee actually does not have lockers, but it does have what's called brake throttle modulation, which allows the torsion differentials to lock up, and it performs very similar to a locker, but it does take some effort to get it to lock up. It's not automatic. There's no switch to flip. So you'll see several times throughout the video where it starts to lose traction and spin on one side. So what I do is I press the brake with my left foot, give it gas with the right, and then slowly release the brake on the left, which causes the torsion diffs to lock up and evenly applies power to both sides. We did this trail in mid-May, and it was a gorgeous day. Highs in the mid-80s, blue skies. Going up the switchbacks, you have beautiful views of the Colorado River below. And then once you get to the top of the mesa, you've got awesome views of the La Salle Mountains in the distance and the rest of the Moab Valley below. I've had this Humvee for a little over a year and a half now, and I absolutely love it. It's loud, it's uncomfortable, it's expensive, but it's got to be one of the coolest trucks you can buy and use. We drove it from Texas to Utah, 650 miles one way, and it did great. When I bought it, it was all military, camouflage, it didn't have doors, the tires were dry rotted.
There you go.
I did a lot of work getting it to where it is now. I painted it myself with Raptor liner, installed the rock rails, did a lot of work to the cooling system, did a lot of work to the suspension system. after the waterfall, this obstacle I think was probably the most difficult on the trail, and it's not even named according to the Fun Treks book, which I found surprising. You'd think a obstacle of this difficulty would have a name, but there's pretty large boulders and uneven. The Humvee was able to get up. I did get hung up for a second. Unfortunately, I don't have video of me getting all the way through, but once I got the right line, it got through without issue. And surprisingly, without scraping anything. If you are going to be off-roading in a Humvee or a Hummer H1, I highly recommend these jack rails. These rails are made by Jeremy Johnson, and they're super solid, fit perfect, and they definitely save the side of the truck going over some of these ledges. This obstacle is called the wedgie, also known as the V-notch. It's a fun obstacle. It's not that challenging. You just gotta keep your tires on both sides. So you're kind of riding on your sidewall a little bit, which feels a little unnerving as the tire starts to slip, but as long as you keep it up on the edge, it's a pretty easy obstacle. So a little bit about the truck. It's a 2003 M1123. It's got a 6.5 Detroit diesel engine and a 4-speed 4L80E transmission. It's running on 38-inch Toyo Open Country MTs. It has a Weston Overland bed rack in the back, which was actually made for a 5-foot bed Toyota Tacoma. I had to modify it a bit to make it fit on the Humvee. I cut 3 inches out of the width and 5 inches off the length to make it fit. And I really like it there. It gives me a place to mount my high lift jack, some recovery boards, and a full-size spare tire. Humvees and Hummer H1s are very different than Jeeps. They don't have a lot of articulation, almost zero articulation. So you get a lot of three-wheeled action. But even though they don't articulate well, still perform amazingly off-road. It's very different than a Jeep, but it still accomplishes the same mission, and it's a lot of fun to drive. This trail is actually a loop, and we did the full circle. Some people break off and do Golden Spike because the Golden Spike trailhead comes off of Poison Spider. But I highly recommend doing the full Poison Spider trail. It's a lot of fun. There is one point on the trail where you come up to an arch called Little Arch. It's a really cool spot to take a break. We got out, walked around, looked at the arch, had a picnic lunch. It's just a good stopping point before finishing the loop and then joining back into the trail that you've already done when you initially started. So on this ledge, a little miscommunication with the spotter, but the Humvee still took it like a champ and was able to get over that steep ledge.
No, go back.
It's been a long time since I've made a full-length video for YouTube, and this is actually a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited about this one. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll do a video soon to do like a walk around and go over all the modifications and everything done to the Humvee. It's a really cool truck. I get a lot of compliments everywhere I go. I got a lot of compliments on the trail. For more content on this truck, check out our Instagram page, Outdooraholic_EP. Thanks for watching.